he's willing to sacrifice his own voters, as Bennie and I were talking about, in the process. So this is according to an analysis by Reuters. Analysis of federal spending data indicates that his proposed domestic spending caps could be felt most acutely in the states that back Republican President Donald J. Trump in the 2020 presidential election. Those 25 states received roughly $172 billion in the last fiscal year for highway construction, housing, public health, and other purposes, amounting to about $1,196 per person. The 25 states plus the District of Columbia that backed Democrat Joe Biden received $205 billion, or a little over $1,000 per person. And thank Reuters for this reporting. And those pesky work requirements that he keeps bringing up, well, McCarthy also proposed stiffening, if you can believe that, work requirements for benefits like SNAP, which provide grocery money for low-income people. That likewise could hit Republican-leaning states harder. By 3.1% of the population in those states could lose benefits, compared to 2.8% of residents in Biden states. And you know what, Bennie, as we close out this segment, I don't even like talking about this kind of stuff based on who's in a red state and who's in a blue state. This is about people who are suffering in this country and they need some relief. And it always boggles my mind. I mean, to the point of WTF for real. Why is it that when it comes to giving relief or a hand up to poor and working class people in this country, they gotta prove themselves worthy? You know what I mean? Because this is whose life is worthy. But then these ultra wealthy people and corporations don't have to prove that they're worthy, because by default, because they're moneyed, they're worthy. Like, there is something wrong with the American psyche when it comes to that. Bennie, your thoughts on this?
No, 100%. Our entire economy is fundamentally dehumanizing. I mean, seriously, how many times have you heard the phrase earn a living? What do you mean earn a living? If you're a human being, you are deserving of basic necessities like housing, healthcare, food. Like, call me a radical communist or whatever, but like, I think food stamps should be a universal program. I think everybody should have a guaranteed minimum required to like put food on your table. And yeah, the whole red state, blue state thing is really, really frustrating, because you have a lot of like liberals who are go around and blame voters and say like, oh, what about the voters of like Tennessee or whatever? Look at this is what they're voting for. Except for it's not what they're voting for, because something around 8% of the entire voting age population of, I think, Tennessee, Alabama, and Mississippi are literally denied the right to vote due to prior felony voting laws, right? And so there's a huge segment of the population that are entirely disenfranchised, and that is just speaks to the extreme degree with which we are dehumanizing people at a fundamental level.
Oh, totally agreed on that, Bennie. Oh my God, we have to do better. And to me, at some point, and I say this over and over again to people who watch us regularly, we have to stop participating in our own, being complicit, really in our own demise here. And your point about how some neoliberals would do, they did that with East Palestine too, as you know. You have people like Joy Behar, and other, like some elected. She's not elected, she's on The View, but just really saying that the people of East Palestine don't deserve any relief from the federal government because they voted overwhelmingly for Trump. And I push back on that, and I'll continue to push back on that, because there's a certain level of humanity that we must exhibit that's not based on who's on the so-called red team or who's on the blue team. I'm on the team of the people. And when progressives like us, or at least in my estimation, when we fight for universal programs, we're fighting for those programs. If you are a true progressive, you are fighting for those programs for all people, whether they believe in them or not. They don't have to prove that they're worthy of clean air, clean water, clean food, or that they're worthy of healthcare, or that they gotta vote our way to get it, Because if we do think like that, then that makes us no better than the rest of these people. This kind of stuff burns my behind, and it burns my behind greatly. And we're gonna keep talking about this. Republicans, y'all need to step in and get Leader McCarthy. Y'all got poor people and working class people in your states. And those people don't have to prove that they worthy. Are they worthy by the virtue that they are alive? And then you're gonna punish children too, because as you punish adults and I'm talking about families that have children. I understand every family doesn't have children, but I want y'all to think about that. You punishing adults, you hurting their damn kids too.